Alright, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another Wednesday live stream. I'm joined by the adorable, as always, Nova here. She's going to be my co-anchor currently while we figure this thing out. It's been a couple weeks since we've done a live stream. I have been a little bit busy behind the scenes doing stuff both for this and some family stuff and whatnot, and I had mentioned on a community post a while ago that I was thinking about kind of just suspending the live streams because it was under the impression that it was affecting the rest of the channel. Turns out it wasn't, so that doesn't look like to be the problem, so I'm just going to roll with it, and we're going to probably be live streaming every other Wednesday, as we typically do. What happened? Let me see here real quick. It looks like we're live. We have people talking in the chat, which is a good thing. Oh, what? You see it? So she's so fascinated by the lights. Yeah, it's funny. Okay, let's see who we have in here. What's up, Madfish Diva? Welcome. Oh, by the way, I just fixed your right, Madfish Diva, you're Marianne or you're Char? I get you guys confused. And well, fixed. Yeah, you having fun? She's enjoying the heck out of this. So I know I didn't schedule this. Yeah, it's funny. Wow, you see yourself? So unfortunately, baby noises can't be helped here. But I figured I'd just do a little Q&A today. And, oh, that's right, you're Char, Marianne. I don't know, oh, I forget her username. But yeah, okay, I fixed her thing. So the new format, I kind of wanted to do the live stream in a way that kind of, I wanted, oh really, you just laughing at everything? Yeah. It's like a fake laugh / cough as she's starting to figure out how to do that. But so I want to do kind of like, I want to get 3 questions from like the audience, like through the community page and also Instagram and Facebook, and like take really good, like, are you okay there? Listen, if you're going to co-host this thing, you need to let me speak and then you can make all the noises, okay? What do you have in your hair? Lint. So I want to kind of do it in the way where we have like 3 topics. Every time I talk, every time I'm trying to talk. I'm trying. Yeah? Yeah, I know, you're just fascinated by all the lights. And she wants to use the computer. She's so cute. So yeah, like 3 major topics that come from the community, like deep diving into questions and kind of figuring out like what maybe like somebody has a problem and we deep dive into that kind of thing, and I want to kind of base like half the show around that, so like 3 major questions, and then we kind of do Q&A stuff and whatnot. So probably tomorrow I'll make a post on the community tab on our YouTube as well as like Instagram and Facebook, and I'll ask you guys, you know, what topics would you like us to cover in a live stream. And, you know, you could just leave what you think would be a good idea in those, or you could leave it in the comments of this live stream after the fact, and we'll use those as well. And so each week we'll do that also. Yeah, she is running the show. But, yeah, so that's what we're going to kind of do in the future. This is just like a little update, you know, live stream that I want to do since I haven't done one in a while, and I really didn't have a chance to source those topics. But I did want to say that we're going to run a discount for Spiderwood today as I make it, or actually all driftwood, because Jake reminded me, he's like, hey, we got a lot of wood here, and we should do a discount so we can get some of it out of here. So we're going to do 15% driftwood. Wow. So all driftwood will be 15% off using the code driftwood. Limit 1 per customer, and we'll set the end date for what? Next Wednesday. So the end date will be next Wednesday. Boom. Set up. Code is driftwood. There you go. You're welcome. You can thank Jake. Anyway, let's take a look at the questions. Flutie Coat says hi. Oh, okay. Glad to have you tonight. Dave says he misses the basement. Aw. How's Jersey? I miss my home state. Jersey's good. I like it. I have no problem with it. What's up, Zag? Hey, Ken. Nova, yeah. Oh. Welcome all to the H2O chat. Hit that like button and ask your questions. Thank you, Waterbox. Yeah, you laughing? You find this hysterical, don't you? Yeah, there's too much going on for you? She's running the show. She is. Big Daddy. Thank you, Pleco Whisperer. Yeah, so she's getting bigger. She's starting to get her leg strength sitting up. She doesn't like... We have this rocking chair, and like sitting her back, she doesn't like sitting back anymore. She wants to be sitting up. And she's starting to get the leg strength enough to like stand up. And so that'll be interesting. Oh, the water box brings up a good thing. Aquatic Experience is coming up. It's less than 2 months away. So you have some time to book your tickets. Aquatic Experience is basically like a fresh and saltwater. Don't drop your toy. Is a freshwater and saltwater show. I'm probably gonna release a video. I actually have to do that video. I'm gonna do that video either for this week or the following week to kind of promote it a bit, just so people are aware of it. I think people could probably make plans within a month if they wanted to come out, depending on how far they are and whatnot. But it's a really good show. I liked the one last year in Chicago. It was really nice. This year it's in New Jersey. Well, they marketed it as New York, but it's New Jersey. And it's just a really cool show. We'll have a booth there. We'll be vending, so you can come pick up some plants. We're going to have some things that we don't really have in stock too often. So a lot of special order stuff I'm bringing in just for the show, because based on Reefapalooza, kind of got an idea for what people want. Like when they see it in person, they're like, oh, that's really cool. I want that. And like half the other stuff that I thought that they would want, they don't. So, yeah. You got to quit reaching for the computer. Okay, you're not the technician. You're the talent. Yeah, you're the talent. Okay. What? Don't grab Daddy's beard. So yeah, so if you're in the tri-state area or possibly flying out, Aquatic Experience will be at booth 535. Yeah, tell him come to our booth. Nova may be there. It depends. If she's crawling by then, probably not. What? Did that what? If she's crawling by then, she probably won't be able to stay with us just because she's going to be wanting to go everywhere. My jungle valve suddenly started to seem like it is melting and browning from the top down. Any ideas? I've had it a long time dosing liquid ferts. Are you dosing Seachem XL at all? Because if you're dosing XL, that could be killing it. But if not, then there could be a different problem. But you see the phone? She is so fascinated by phones and electronics now. She like constantly reaching for phones, constantly reaching for the laptop. Like she wants everything that lights up. She's too cute. But you can't. What's up? Cameron here from Texas. Welcome learning to fish keep. Welcome here. She's so big, they grow up pretty fast. They do. Gorgeous baby by Cute Aquatics. Thank you, Q. Yeah, they all called you pretty. Are you pretty? Ken says, I'm hoping to go to AE. I need to find someone to go with me. Yeah, I hope you can make it out. We may be looking for maybe like a volunteer, or well, not a volunteer. I'll pay you, of course. You know, either in product or possibly money to come and help us set up and possibly break down, depending on how long you're in the area for. Just because one of our employees, Amanda, she's going back to college. Well, she's been in college, but her new semester came up, and she's really not going to be able to work during the week. So we need to set up on Thursday. So if you're in the area, shoot me like an email or message me on Facebook or Instagram so we can get your information if you're interested in just helping for the setup. Basically, we're going to be bringing like 2 or 3 tanks from this room. So we're going to need help like at the show. We'll need help unloading and whatnot. And we could even maybe like get you entry or something depending on like how much you can help out and whatnot. So, so just, you know, reach out to me because we may need just the help setting up. That's really what it comes down to, or possibly even just somebody to help also like work the booth for the weekend also if you're interested, because it's probably just gonna be me, Jake, and Margaret. Maybe Jake's girlfriend because she's been helping now, but she doesn't really know plants all that well. So if you are versed in plants and want to, you know, help sell, we'll definitely pay you for the time. Hi, what? Most likely just on Saturday. I mean, I don't think Friday's gonna be super packed, and I don't think Sunday's gonna be super packed. But Friday, I think we're gonna need help. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if you're interested, shoot me an email, message, anything like that, and we'll take a look at it. Wheezy comes up with some potential topics for new format. What's the best source water? RO remineralized with something like equilibrium, tap with dechlor. How about people who have water softeners? What? Hey, I got your toy. Fishy. Mr. Fishy. 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 Yeah. I'll pay you more than Justin will pay you to help with AE. Greg Jones. Yeah, right? I'll help if I go. I'll let you know if I don't. No problem. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tricky because the, you know, we're not bringing as many tanks as we brought to Reefapalooza. Reefapalooza, we brought, 5 of these, and that was just not a good idea. Looking back on it, it should have been only like 2 or 3. So we'll probably bring like 2 of the small ones, and then either the Paludarium or the Desert if it gets its act together, because that one is so-so. So, yeah. Yeah, you hold on to that. You hold on to the fishy. Greg Jones has Sean Peck from Peck Tech helping. I'm sure we can lend him to you. He works for plants and a beer, I think. Yeah, we could arrange that. I don't know, Kyle. I have a very small ones, though. I hate snails, by the way. Oh, yeah, narrowhead snails are nice. I like them. They're some of the best algae eaters. Wow. Yeah, you want to touch the computer? No, don't touch the computer. She's like trying so hard. She's like, I want to push the button. What's up, Chris? How's it going? Yeah. What? Hi. Are you getting antsy? Mommy needs to hurry up. So Margaret's doing her hair right now, and that's why I have her, because she can't do both. So I'm hoping it's almost like time for her bath. So hopefully Mommy comes get you, because you're getting antsy. I can see. Okay. Yeah, you're getting antsy. The lights and stuff aren't amusing you anymore. She's trying so hard. She's like, I want to touch that computer. Fishy. No, the fishy's not doing it no more. Mommy, if you hit that button, you make everything go away. Okay? We can't have that. Don't touch the button. Look at the tanks. Look at the pretty tanks. She is so into it. It's too cute. Now with the pups are great. Walter's actually right here with me. He's just chilling for some reason. I wonder if it's thundering out. But yeah. So if you guys, you know, feel free to ask aquarium related questions. I'm going to save that topic for what's the best water to use, because that sounds like a good one. Wow. Yeah, that's your fishy. Nope, don't drop the fishy. She's going to drop the fishy. That's not going to be good, because then we're going to be down a fishy. Just dip her in a tank, clean it up. You threw the fishy. Yeah, that's right, you threw the fishy. She's like, what the hell was that? Just dip her in a tank and it's clean. There you go, yeah. If it was only that easy. What's the desert tank back there? I need to catch up on your videos. We did a video on it. It's not looking that great, so you can't really tell from the live stream, but yeah, that deep cleaning that I did a real number on the tank, so it's one of those, it's going to take a couple weeks to get back to its former glory. I also have to dose it with something because I think it's got like a cyanobacteria forming or something. What? Now stop touching that. You just, look, you just scrolled the chat all the way up. How am I supposed to read it? You! What are you doing? Yeah, I'm gonna turn you around so you can't see it. Now everybody gets to see the back of your hair. She's got this little what do you call it? Like a mullet going on here. She's got a little mullet. And Walter is directly under my legs right now. Don't know why. I think he's scared. Sandy Cheeks wants to know, how is the plant room? Well, if you're referring to this room, we got like none of these tanks are doing well right now. They're all due for maintenance, quite a bit of it. I got hair algae in one of them. I got a massive algae in this one. This tank, when I did the whole Giba burnout, really did a number on it. The paludarium's having issues. The Iwagami right here, this long tank, is the only one that's somewhat doing good, but there's algae popping up on that. So we got a ton of stuff going on. So I gotta really get in here and do some maintenance. I'll probably do it Friday. Get in here, clean everything, straighten it up a bit. But yeah, it'll burn that tank. No, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I'll do some chemi clean after I clean it up, and it should be alright. Should be good. You responded to my DM about mini Xmas moss, but I have a ledge growing out of control. Can I just cut it off long pieces and glue it to driftwood? You certainly can. You could even take it, put it in a blender. Well, actually, if your tank's already filled, you can't do this. But yeah, I know somewhat sharp gravel. Oh wait, I have somewhat sharp gravel, but my Java moss is almost covering the substrate with a few open patches. Would quarries be fine? Oh, that's gonna be tricky. Probably not. I probably wouldn't do quarries just because they're gonna dig through the Java moss, even when it's fully filled in. So I probably would stay away from it. I would switch up the substrate. Sandy Cheek says, I meant the main plant room. The main plant room is actually doing pretty good. I want to do a video. I have to film it. You know what? I have to do that Friday too. That's going to be a really cool video to do because it's going to show pretty much a year and a half time lapse of where we started from and where we are now with the fish room. But I have to. That's probably not going to be this Sunday's video. That's a lot of editing. Oh, speaking of a lot of editing, how did you guys like the video on the hydrilla? Did you guys all watch that, the perfect aquarium plant video? Because that I spent a ton of time on that. I probably spent like close to 30 hours between research, driving to go and find it. It was a 2-hour drive, hour each way, an hour there, so that was 3 hours. I probably spent like a good 8 hours of research. So it's like 11 hours, and then I spent like 3 days editing, and then 1 day recording the voice. So it was a lot. It was a lot of work to put that video together. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out. And if you did like that video, if you could like share it and like it and whatnot, so that way it gets out there, because that was the main thing was really to just, you know, kind of give everybody the notion of, hey, don't put things in the wild that don't belong there. So but yeah, back to your question of the main plant room. It's doing great. We've over the last month or two have really dialed in a lot of our operations and procedures downstairs, so everything looks way more organized now. We're having a lot less from a financial standpoint. We were burning through plants. We had a lot of because what we were doing is we were kind of ordering more than we needed, and then we would have some diebacks from some plants. So now we're pretty much all potted plants except for stems. Stems we still get in bunches. And then everything else is potted now pretty much. So Anubis, dwarf sedge, swords, crypts, all those. So they do much better in the pots. And, you know, it really helps to keep it organized. So it's doing rather well. Let's see. Oh, there she is with her straight hair. Who's that? Who's that? Say, Mommy, no, I'm having fun with Daddy.
Did Daddy feed you?
Yeah. Okay. Is she taking you away? She was cracking up when I started live streaming.
Was she?
Yeah, like laughing. There you go. Okay. The co-host has left the building.
Make sure you put her water in there.
Yeah. Always going to be a challenge with such a powerful twin star on a shallow tank. Maybe a dimmer needed. No, Billy, actually the tank was completely fine before. It's because of what I did with the hydrogen peroxide. If you watch the video on Gibba, getting rid of it. When I dosed the tank with hydrogen peroxide, it killed all the bacteria inside the sand. So it's basically going through a recycle. Other than that, you know, initially the tank had no algae whatsoever. So it's readjusting, it's regrowing. It's completely expected after doing such a massive cleaning. Waterbox says cyanobacteria spawns alien zombies. Burn the tank. Yeah, might be a good idea. Nope. What's up, BSA Aquascaping? How's it going? Rose says yes. The hydrilla video very informative. Madfish Diva says it was a cool video on invasive plants. Thank you. It was a good video. Did you burn your sample yet? No, I actually still have it done here.
Listen,
What?
just bring one more bottle up.
Okay. I still have it down here, and it's actually rooting and sprouting side plants and whatnot. I want to really like just grow it out. Like I think it's like kind of almost like a cool prop. I want to get like a shelf in here so I can put it up there. Cause like it's just like I don't know. It would be a cool prop for the background because it's like, hey, yeah, that's a really invasive plant, and I'll just, you know, as it grows, I'll just trim and burn whatever I, you know, trim off, whatnot. So yeah. Let's see. Greg Jones says, I saw your pond plant auction on Facebook. Which one do you think would survive best in my greenhouse? Will they regrow if I left out over winter? Ooh, yeah, actually, that's a good point. So right now on the Facebook page, we had, I mean, there's a handful of pond plants that we had left over from the spring that we were selling. Most of them still in pretty good condition. So we threw them up on our Facebook page. There's a photo album there. And you could go bid. They're starting at $1 each, so you just pay $1 and pay shipping, or you know, whatever it gets bid up to. If you win multiple auctions, you only have to pay the shipping once, and you can get, you know, a couple plants for a really decent price. But we had some banana trees and some variegated garlic, I think it was, or rain lilies, and butterfly or Mexican butterfly plant or blood flower plant. It is, I think. So will they survive in your greenhouse? Where are you, Greg? Are you in Maine? No, Massachusetts. You're both in Massachusetts, right? Banana trees won't. I'm trying to think if any. In the greenhouse, as long as they don't freeze, they'll probably be okay. If they, if you leave them outside, that's a whole different story. But in the greenhouse, you'd probably be all right as long as the temperature doesn't like drop below freezing. So most of them are cold hardy up to like zone 7, left outdoors, except for the banana plants. I'm pretty sure those are tropical and couldn't handle being frozen. So. Sandy Cheek says, I didn't know plants could be invasive. I thought it was cool and an eye-opener. Yeah, it definitely is. You know, introducing just one piece of a plant can ruin an entire ecosystem. So when I was doing research into it, I just, you know, as you look up stuff and you kind of start digging deeper and deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole, it kind of just like opens your eyes even more. Because I knew a little bit about hydrilla. I've heard of it. I, you know, knew it was an invasive plant just based on people asking me, hey, can you send me this plant? And I was like looking it up, and hydrilla always seemed to be on the list. And then all of a sudden I started watching some videos on it. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there that have done videos, and there's a lot of information out on it. But I feel like I had a bigger reach than them. So I really just wanted to get it out in front of the masses, or as much as possible, to really just magnify the, you know, what it is. But none of them, from everything that I saw, except for one kind of blog that I, you know, wound up researching, was talking about the superfood effect of it. So a lot of the videos were just talking about how bad it was. And while it is a terrible plant to release into the wild, I just thought that that whole superfood aspect of it is like something can be so destructive, but on the other hand be so good. It's just a matter of finding that balance between eliminating it from being destructive and putting it to better use. So it's really, really interesting plant that I was just fascinated by it. Oh, Aaron Aquarium is in the house. What's up, Aaron? We're gonna put user on timeout now. Make moderator. Boom. There you go. Let's see. So we got some questions here. Marine biologist says best plants for a 29-gallon mid-light no CO2 or mid-light tank no CO2. So it's really going to depend on your scape, but pretty much any sword would be good. And 29 gallons are tall. I really don't like them because of that fact. 29 gallon and 55 gallons are like the worst tanks to me personally when it comes to a planted tank. But if you were going to do them, you definitely would do like swords, because swords grow that tall, those tall leaves. So you can do Amazon swords, Kleiner bars. Red Rubens are really good. Red sword. We also have these new Stardust swords, which I posted a picture of. I don't know if we have any left. I only got 6 of them, and they are just the most beautiful red color that you'll ever see in a plant. Like, they're just such a vibrant red. So the Stardust swords are unbelievable. Also the Oriental swords, they're pinkish color, so those are really cool. And these are all light plants that don't need a whole lot of light, and they get that red color. Outside of that, Crips are really good. You could do like giant hair grass, because that gets tall. And the whole thing about, you know, the 55 and the 29 is because they're tall. You need something that could really fill that vertical space. That's why that's one of the main reasons why I don't like them for like aquascaping, because the proportions are so off that you need to use really big plants to fill that void, and it gets to be really distracting. So that, and then also the CO2 and oxygen exchanges from the water surface. So ESA says, I'm very good. Did a workshop with George Farmer this weekend. Got the tank from the workshop for free. So yes, very good. Awesome. That's awesome. George is really cool. I think he's coming out to Aquatic Experience also, if I remember. I believe him and Yori, which is another big aquascaper in Germany. So yes, with a twin starlight and JBL filter. Awesome. That's pretty sick. Billy says hydrilla video was interesting, as here in the UK it's not a problem plant or considered invasive. That's interesting. Pretty much most of the countries, like Australia, I think it's hit Australia, or continents, it's hit Australia, Africa, South America, and North America, and it's considered invasive, I believe, in almost every one of them. So yeah, Greg Jones is in Massachusetts. Yeah, so it should be alright in a greenhouse, I would think. Later Waterbox, he's taken off. Thanks for stopping by. Swords could grow in gravel. Yeah, any plant can grow in gravel. So I have this whole video that I'm working on also. Much like the hydrilla video, I'm doing a video series on some key aquarium plant topics that is going to go really in depth to different aspects, substrate being one of them. And it's going to be very sciencey combined with like the truth behind everything, because a lot of people, they say, oh yeah, get this because it's good, but they can't explain why it's good. So I've been doing a lot of research, and I already have 3 videos already that I'm currently working on, and it's kind of like I'm piecing together the research, and I just got to really start like kind of getting in an order of how I want to discuss topics, and then film that and film all the B-roll and whatnot. But substrate is one of them. So can you grow plants in gravel or swords in particular? You can grow any plants in gravel or swords. The thing is what you need to realize is that the gravel does not hold on to any nutrients. It has no nutrient value. So what you need to do is you need to add something underneath the gravel that gives you nutrient value, such as like root tabs. So adding like root tabs that we sell, like our Vital tabs, you can put that under the gravel, and that would put a good amount of nutritional material there, because it's mainly mineralized topsoil in our root tabs with the clay additives. So you got clay and you got topsoil, which is great, and that will enforce the substrate to give your plants what they need to grow. other than that, the plants really have to work extra hard to absorb those nutrients without having something that holds on to nutrients there. So that's why having a good substrate is really important. But yes, you can grow in gravel. You just need to really supplement with root tabs. Not dosing XLs with the Velsh, just very strange that started melting, browning at the top. So Dave, have you been cutting your valves across the top by any chance? I'm setting up a 2 to 3 gallon beta bowl. What nano LED light and easy plants would you suggest? Greg Jones. Well, so it depends on the amount of money you want to spend. So if you want to go LED, I suggest the let me grab this light, the Asta. Actually, that is hot as hell. So I'm just gonna turn the camera, and hopefully you can see it. Let's see. Yeah, these Asta 20 lights. These are great. I definitely recommend them. I think they're $40 on Amazon, and they're growing. I have them growing some difficult Rotalas pretty well. I mean, the color isn't there. Like they're not going to bring out the deepest reds in plants, but they're definitely growing everything. So that's important. They're definitely growing. So that's good. As far as plants, you would want to stick with smaller size plants. So Nana Petite, moss balls. You could do dwarf four-leaf clover, Crypt parva, Crypt wendites, Crypt lucians. Rosette sword is a good one. That's a really tiny red sword or tiny sword plant that hasn't really gotten much bigger than like this high on me, at least under my tank light. It may get bigger depending on your tank. And the light that you have there, but under more light it seems to grow more compact, so that's really good. You could do Vesuvius sword. That doesn't get massive. It does get tall, but it looks really nice. And definitely a lot of crypts. Pretty much almost any crypt except for Costado, Spiralis, or Balancea I would say are good. Monte Carlo also, and moss. Yeah. And floating plants. Redwood floaters. Especially redwood floaters, or any floater that you may have. They love the floaters. How do you get rid of blackbeard algae? Well, blackbeard algae, this is another video that I'm going to go into depth on. That's another topic. But for the most part, most algae, you got to narrow down what's causing them in the cause of blackbeard algae. It's typically high flow. You'll typically see blackbeard algae growing in areas of high flow. So if you have your spray bar, push it across the top of the tank, you may catch the leaves that are at the top of the tank getting blackbeard algae. You may even see the filter output getting blackbeard algae. Typically, it's not just flow. Typically, it's high organics or high CO2 or low CO2. So it really depends on what your setup is. If you have fluctuating levels of CO2, if you run CO2. If you don't run CO2, that's probably high organics. And what that is maybe you have dirted substrate, or you have Aqua Soils substrate, which is high in organics, and then you have wood. You have all these things that are decaying, and maybe you're not staying on top of your maintenance, like water changes. And when you do water changes, it's pulling out those organics and allowing the tank to kind of stabilize. So it's important that you stay on whatever regimen you have, and you don't figure that out. Once you have BBA, though, even by you doing things to try and change it, it's not really going to go away on its own. You have to actively try and kill it or get something that eats it. I don't recommend getting something that eats it just because if it's like your only tank or like your show tank or whatever, you're going to introduce something that then you have to go and either leave in there if you don't maybe want it, or you're going to have to give it away to somebody. So ways to get rid of it, you could spot treat it with either hydrogen peroxide, which is what I recommend. You could use either a spray bottle, much like this guy here. You can use a pipette or a turkey baster. I have all three downstairs that I use. And you can see I actually have a good old bottle of hydrogen peroxide right here because I'm using it to treat the algae. It's actually really good at killing algae. And what you want to do is, it's really hard to overdo it if you're using like a pipette or a spray bottle. But with that said, you definitely want to use less when you're doing it, because if you use too much, you can wind up killing stuff in your tank, both plants and animals. So just really do it light-handed. And what you would want to do is you shut off your filter, You take the pipette, you fill it up with some hydrogen peroxide. Anywhere where you spot blackbeard algae, you want to squirt a little bit on, and that way you'll see it like fizzing in that area, and you know that it's attacking it. You're going to want to do that repetitively, probably almost every day in the infected spots, especially if it's really bad, and that will kill it. It'll turn gray. Well, it'll probably turn red, pinkish color, then gray, and then it'll just disappear on its own. And that's how you kill what's existing. So yeah. My nose is super itchy. You can do the same thing with Excel. However, Excel I don't like using unless I absolutely have to, because it's a chemical. I like using something a bit more natural. And hydrogen peroxide is just hydrogen and oxygen. So, what is your opinion about the Excel double dose to eliminate algae? Like I just said, I don't like using it unless I absolutely have to. It's like the nuclear option. My nose is so itchy. What is your opinion on What is your opinion on a dirt tank? I personally haven't done one just because I don't like the idea of when you pull plants up, it gets really messy, and I tend to do that a lot. So I like the Aqua Soil. I like sand with root tabs. I like that kind of stuff. I like EcoComplete, preferably. But you could use soil if you don't. If you have an idea in mind and you're not planning on moving stuff around, which I find hard to believe, then you could definitely do soil. But if you're going to be moving stuff around a lot, I definitely recommend doing something else. I think I should cut off the browning leaves and see what happens. Well, if you're cutting across the tops of the... Oh, no, so you said no, I'm not cutting across the tops. That is very strange. Yeah, I would try cutting off the browning leaves down by the base of the plant and get them out of there. It could also be a disease of some sort. You never know. Plants get affected by things sometimes, so it's possible. Okay. I do dirt tank, no maintenance, no ferts, no CO2. Yeah, I'm actually working on an idea for a no filter, no heater, no water change, nothing tank. So, we'll see how that goes. Monte Carlo grows okay in low light. Yeah. Doesn't matter how much dirt you put in. Typically anywhere between a half and inch and a half of dirt, but then whatever you put in as far as dirt, you want to do either double or triple that amount in a cap of either coarse sand or gravel. The reason being is when you pull plants up and out, you're going to get that dirt all over the place, and hopefully if there's enough barrier there, it stays put as much as possible. With that said, if you do dirt a tank, expect it to look dirty, like it's eventually going to work itself out of the top. Should it be fine or coarse gravel or put EcoComplete? Well, there's no reason to put EcoComplete in dirt. EcoComplete has the ability to hold on to nutrients, so when you use EcoComplete, what you want to do is just dose the water column, and then it has the ability to hold on to the fertilizer. So if you use any sort of plant tank substrate, dirt is not needed. So my Crenamite purchase from you are now about 30 inches. Great for tall tanks. Yeah, those are huge. We also got a couple more large ones in. They're like, I put them in the new 75-gallon that we set up, and they're probably, I mean, they're like this thick around the base, and then like the shaft is like that, and then the whole leaf span is probably like a good 3 feet. They're massive. Also, do you gravel back or just change water? Really, I mean, in a dirty tank, really any planted tank, you don't have to gravel back unless you realize you have a really bad dead spot. So like if you notice in one area, all the debris starts building up there, that's where you'll want to really gravel back. How are the mangroves doing? I've got a large wholesale order of them coming in. Nice. The mangroves have been doing great. So the paludarium, I don't know, how does this show up? How you guys... you can't really see it. So The plants up top have been doing great. The plants in the water, not so much. So we're going to be doing a video on what could be causing it because it's rather interesting. I've never seen it happen before like this. So that's going to be an update video. What I want to do is when I do the update video, I want to have a conclusion. I don't want to just say, hey, this is what's going on with the tank. I have no idea what's happening. So I want to allow the tank to work its kinks out, and then once it gets to that point where it's like, okay, so this is probably what happened, and then I can do a video on it. Right now, I don't know what's really happening with it. So, but yeah, I've actually been looking for mangroves to sell. I actually have somebody that lives in Florida that said they'll go run and collect them when all the seed pods drop for me. So, you know. What are your thoughts on EcoComplete? EcoComplete, I use it down my 55. It's okay. There are better substrates, but if it's the only thing available, it definitely works. So pros to it, it's relatively cheaper than most of the other substrates. For how much you get for how much you pay. It does really a decent job at holding on to nutrients, but it lacks nutrient content itself, and it doesn't really break down. So, it could break down, but it breaks down slower than any of the other soils. I think that's just because of the manufacturing process that they do. The cons to it, though, is it has no nutrient value. So when you put it in your tank, you still have to add fertilizers right away because it has no nutrients. It just doesn't contain any. It may be in a bag soaked in nutrients, but if you rinse it off, which I typically do when I use EcoComplete, is I rinse it because it still had dust in there. You wash away all those nutrients. So you have to start dosing when you use EcoComplete. The other thing is it is really difficult to plant in if it's just EcoComplete. So what I did is I mixed mine with black diamond blasting sand, a coarser sand, to kind of match so it's black and it blends in really well. But, it's sand, so that has no nutrient value at all. So you really have to make sure you have a decent amount of EcoComplete and then use the black sand like I did. That would give you a good mixture. That's what I have in the 55. And it's been working. I am switching, though. We're getting a new tank for the 55, so the 55 is no more. Once we get the new tank, we're going to be moving everything over to a 75 gallon, and that I'm going to be using the Aqua Soil that I used in all these tanks here. So because these work great, these Aqua Soil that I got. So let's see. I like 88 Amazonia, Tropica Substrate. They're all relatively good. Like, honestly, I haven't, I'm not a chemist. I'm not going to sit here and do all these experiments that a lot of people do. They all work. I wouldn't say one is better than the other when it comes to Aqua Soil, Stratum, Tropica, or 88. They're all relatively the same. They may have smaller advantages, each one. But they grow plants. Like, this one's growing this. Now, if I was to, say, okay, let's put a divider here in the middle, we'll plant the same amount of plants on one side and plant the same amount of plants on the other side and see how it grows. That could be a thing. One could outcompete each other, but it's growing in this. I have ADA downstairs in one of the tanks. It grows plants great also, so it's really hard to say, oh, this one is better than the other ones to me. Like, they all work. It's just a matter of what's available to you, what your pricing, what your budget is at, and all that. So switching my tank to low tech is tempting. I don't really have the time for all the maintenance for high tech right now. Yeah. Hey, low tech. I mean, pretty much. Like, this tank over here has CO2, but this is all low tech plants. This is all low tech plants. This is a high tech tank, which is out of control right now. This is all low tech, and this is relatively low tech. Like, this is high-tech stuff. Like, it's got CO2 blasting, the dwarf hair grass, but the dwarf hair grass, what's nice about it is, like, I don't have to trim it. I could, and I probably should go in here and give it a nice trim. I'm going to leave it probably another week or two, or maybe this week I'll trim it up a bit. I trimmed up all the whatchamacallit here, the moss recently, but it's gotten out of control. I got to trim up the stems, replant. But this tank also has a small infestation of Gibba also, because for those that were paying attention, the Vietnam is the one that Gibba came over on, and there's Vietnam in both this tank and that tank. So it came from the same batch of plants, from the same person, and both tanks have Gibba. So I'm working on it. Right now this one's a lot less Gibba than this tank had, so I'm not fighting it as much. But I'm still going in, pulling strains out every couple of days, but it's not all over the place like it was in that tank. I don't think I mentioned it in the video, it tends to like high-tech environments, Gibba. For those that follow the video, I don't think I mentioned it, but Gibba prefers high CO2 environments from what I can tell, because on my low-tech tanks where I've had it introduced before, it like basically disappeared on its own kind of thing. So, yeah. But low-tech is nice because you don't have to do as much maintenance, but I do have to get in there. This tank needs a major cleaning. This needs a major cleaning again. This one needs a major cleaning. It's definitely not looking the best. So, but yeah. Which substrate lasts the longest? Well, they all... See, here's the thing. EcoComplete doesn't break down from what I see, or it breaks down at a very slow rate. Aqua Soils, like Contra Soil, ADA, Tropica, all those, because they're organic material mixed with clay, those are going to break down a lot. EcoComplete, I think, is like almost all clay. It's all just hardened clay. And clay's really good for holding on to nutrients. But when it comes to Aqua Soil, because it's part clay, part organics, it breaks down and creates like, I have a fine powder down here at the bottom, and it starts filling in the cracks. So it breaks down over time. With that said, is it going to break down in the next year? No. I mean, it may lose the majority of its nutrient content, which is very possible. But as long as you're dosing the water column, it replenishes those nutrients. And then what happens is the substrate can hold on to those nutrients as long as it's clay. Clay has an ability to attract the nutrient molecules to itself, and then the plants can utilize it. So there's gnats in here. I use JBL ProScape soil, and it's been in my tank for almost 3 years now, and it hasn't turned into mush. I like it. Nice. Is the Twin Star E enough light for dwarf hairgrass? It depends on the size of the tank. If you're going with a shallow tank, like one of these, sure. This is a bit taller. This one's even taller. I don't know if it would work for those. I'm going to have to get in here and dose. There's some algae growing here. But yeah. So guys, we got about 5-10 minutes left. So if you keep the questions rolling in. And yeah. So the best substrate would be clay. No. The best substrate would be a mixture between organics and clay. The reason being is if you have organics, you have something natural that's providing nutrients right off the bat. If you only have a clay substrate, then you need to dose nutrients because clay doesn't have really nutrients. It just has the ability to hold on to nutrients. So it's good to have a mixture. How many watts per gallon with LEDs? It really doesn't go off watts per gallon. That's really an old system that doesn't work for LEDs. What you want is par, and it really depends on what you're trying to grow. If you're trying to grow really easy plants, you only need like 20 to 50 par. If you're trying to grow really difficult plants, you're going to want like 75 and up par. Or like, yeah, I would say at least 75, if not higher. And the par rating really depends on how deep your tank goes. So for like a 55-gallon tank, you're going to need a hell of a lot of light. So you're going to need a really powerful LED. If you have a shallow tank or something that's only, I think this is only 12 inches tall, maybe 16. What is this? This can't be a foot, is it? Is it a foot? I can't tell. Oh no, this is 16. Yeah, this is a foot. So this is 12 inches tall. For this, I mean, this is a lot of light because it's only 12 inches tall. These lights are really powerful, so it has a whole lot of light. Like, you could tell that it's really powerful just because of how bright it is. And then also, they have a nice red, green, and blue mixture because you could tell by the bluish green tint, or the bluish red tint, purple tint in the back. So yeah. But when it comes to, like, you're asking about hair grass, dwarf hair grass, I mean, it's really going to depend. Dwarf hair grass seems to like more light, so I err on the side of more light than low light. Sorry, I just got an email. Ew, that would explain it. Okay. Let's see. I have a 600E BSA, and my dwarf hair grass is doing fine. And a Aquascaper 600 with no CO2. With CO2 though, yeah. See, it really likes to have CO2. I find the dwarf hair grass. It tends to. I mean, you could grow without CO2. It's just going to grow really, really slowly, and you're going to need a lot of it if you're going to try and carpet it out without CO2. So, JLP says, Corey mentioned making mud ice cubes for budget root tabs. Any thoughts? You could. The problem is you don't know, like, if you're going and making mud in your backyard, you don't know what's in that soil. So, for instance, like my soil in my backyard, I've sprayed with chemicals to try and keep weeds down. I've added things to the soil that you wouldn't want to introduce into your aquarium. These are things that can stay around for a while that are inside your soil content. So if you go and you take some soil from the backyard and you freeze it and you put it underneath your gravel, it's risky because you don't know what's in there. So you would definitely want to, I would say, at least, you know, put it in an oven, bake it. I'd maybe rinse it thoroughly, like if you could, like somehow find a way to like really rinse it thoroughly. But it could be risky. It really depends. If you know what's in your soil and you've lived there 100 years, then I'd say you're probably okay. But if you don't know and you maybe just moved in the past 20 years, you don't know what was sprayed, what's in that soil. I personally, and I could only speak for myself, I wouldn't go outside and take soil from my backyard and put it in my tanks. But it is plausible if you wanted to do it. I wouldn't recommend it. I would get something that's actually meant for aquariums where, you know, root tabs are, whether it's my root tabs, fluvals, whatever, sea chems, whatever they have. But at least it's something directly meant for the aquariums. I'm out. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Dave. I went to my local fish store and bought a bunch of stalks of water sprite. The stems are long enough. How do I propagate them correctly? So water sprite is incredibly easy, and we've actually been having a little bit of issue with it because now that we have pots, the pots seem to be banging around in the boxes and they break some of the leaves off, so we have to figure out maybe a better way. It's just particularly that plant. Like we stuff the box with shipping insulation, like paper and whatnot, and it still seems to get messed up. So not sure what's going on with it. But the good thing about it is water sprite actually propagates through each stem with a leaf. So you'll have you have the stalk of the leaf, and then you have the leaf at the top. You could just basically break that off, float it in your aquarium for a week or two. All of a sudden you'll see roots and new plants coming out of that leaf, and then you just plant that in the substrate, and boom, there you go. You got a new plant. Very easy to propagate. Extremely easy, actually. Is the Fluval 3.0 light worth the money? I I mean, I have all Flugel 2.0s downstairs. They're decent. Decent lights for like a 40-ish gallon tank. You may be able to go up to like 55 if you're just going like low to medium light plants. I wouldn't recommend it for really difficult plants. So if you're trying to grow like really rare stuff, definitely not going to work for that. So really just depends on what you're trying to go for. But for the most part, yeah. Cree LEDs, I haven't used those before. What's better, 2.0 or 3.0? I honestly haven't used the 3.0, so I don't know. But I do have everything on a timer myself, so I don't think I need any of that programmability. 3.0 in my opinion, because you can control it with your app. Tank Tested is here. I was promised a new format. Well, Tank Tested, being that you're here at the very end, the new format isn't starting this week. We're going to do it next week or the following week. And basically it's where we're just going to take 3 community questions and we're going to dive deeper into those throughout the live stream. And so hopefully we can kind of answer some of the more asked questions in the hobby. So if you have really good questions that you may want answered or you think others should know, or you want to know my takes on it, you can drop it in the comments of this video after the fact, or check out the community page here on YouTube or on Instagram and Facebook. We'll be posting the information there to find out what you guys want us to talk about. Yeah, 2.0 has more power to the light, so it's better for the plants as far as brightness. Jay says the Spectrum, though, he feels is better on the 3.0. The Spectrum really just, it's what our eyes see, so it may not necessarily, well, no, I'm sorry. The Kelvin rating is more so what our eyes see. The Spectrum is what the plant uses, anywhere from, I think it's 440 nanometers to 700, I think. Could be wrong there. I'm trying to remember the correct numbers. I think that's about it. So there's a big old spider in the corner over there. So yeah. I have a Novus 45-inch with 156. Grows my plants. Nice. 7200 Kelvin. I have a light downstairs that has 1000K or 10,000K. It's really bright, really nice. I mean, these twin star lights are really phenomenal. I like them a lot, but they're very expensive. So I'm actually probably with the new 75 that we're setting up, I'm going to probably be getting the best LED on the market. Like, it's more expensive than, say, Kessel, but it's by far the most powerful LED you'll be able to buy from a consumer level, without doing any sort of modification or whatnot. So we'll have that probably set up for the new 75 gallon because I really want to demonstrate the light. I just haven't purchased it because it's quite expensive. So, but we shall see. What are your thoughts on 65K LEDs? 6500K LED garage lights. 6500 is fine. Anywhere between 6500 and 10,000 is good Kelvin ratings. It just really matters of what you're looking for. However, the lights that have blues, reds, and greens in them, so much better for color. I can't tell you much, like how much this tank looks much better than any other tank does because of the color brightness on each of them. I didn't even think of that, so you would have to reprogram it every time. I don't... Oh, yeah, it doesn't handle power outages. Yeah, that's true. But 3.0, if you have it plugged in, doesn't handle power outages, and that could definitely be a problem. All right, last couple questions here, and then we're going to be heading off for the night. Do you figure you spend more in electricity on lights or heaters, Greg Jones asked. I would say... See, this is tricky because I have lights on every single tank. They're all LEDs. And I don't have heaters in every tank, but they're all oversized, and they're all like 200-300 watt heaters. So in the winter, I probably spend more on the heaters because, like, I can heat the basement, but I wind up heating the whole house when the heater's on. So it really only kicks on when the upstairs gets cold, and the basement obviously is a bit colder in the winter than the upstairs. So I have to have heaters. But with that said, the tanks that have heaters, they're only set to 72 just because I don't want to drop in too cold. Yeah. I probably, during the summer, I probably spend more on lighting, but during the winter, I probably spend more on heating. Possibly. It would be tough. It would have to be a really cold winter, probably. Yeah, the twin stars behind me, I believe are 65 or 75, one of the two. Wait till she starts pulling up to the tanks. Yeah. Talking about a Nova. Let's see, I got some Rotella indica and I have it floating. The bottom of the stems are starting to melt and the leaves are starting to fall off. Is that normal for stem plants to react like this when introducing them to a new tank? Yeah, typically most of the bottom of the plant are either grown out of the water or is used to other water parameters. The top new growth is going to grow and that'll adjust to your new water parameters. So I would just plant, like chop, when you want to go slightly above where it's melting off, chop that off and just replant the tops and allow them to grow. Rotellas grow super quickly though, so I mean within a matter of like a week or two, you'll be back to the bunch that you had once it gets established in the tank. Well, light is well, these lights here are, oh, the light that I was talking about before, I think you mean. That's a secret. I'm not going to reveal it yet. What is your opinion on current Satellite Plus Pro? I honestly don't like the current lights, but on a shallow tank, they'd probably be alright. Red, white, and blue light, sandy cheeks. Yeah. It's good. When is Ludwigia Repens ready to propagate? Whenever you wanted to. Pretty much. I like to propagate stems roughly about 3/4 of the way up the tank. So like these are long overdue because they're almost at the surface. So I will chop them down to be about 50 to 60% up the height of the tank, replant, and then just let them regrow. So Ludwigia, any stem plant is like that. So what's up, Jenny? H2O Fish, what's going on? All right, guys. Well, I am all out of time for today. Thank you so much for hanging out. Like I said throughout the broadcast, there is a code 15% off Driftwood. Use the code Driftwood at checkout, and you get any of the Driftwood we have available. I think that's about it. If you enjoyed this live stream and excited for the next one, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you next time, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night and or week. And thanks for watching, as always.